Hey, again, this is not the first video of me you should watch. If you don't know me, um, I'm going to invoke a lot of concepts I've taught before, so you might feel lost. Hi. Swastika, please. Swastika. Breathe, inhabit, feel, observe. Not with aggressivity. I'm feeling and I'm betting, observing everything. Chill, relax. Okay. With certainty, not with violence. Incarnate the body. It is interesting today, my state of being. I am happy and I am sad at the same time. For you, it's usually just one experience at a time. But as you expand, as you grow, you develop, a wider consciousness, and these feelings show up at the same time. I would say that my joy is 31.7 more important than my sadness. So it's a chill day. Just kidding. You have an emotional scale or measuring tape. Newbie question. So which emotion is the biggest now? What? Study Kujian, formlessness. I'm happy to realize I've been completely alone for 3 months. I've had conversations 3 times with someone at a few meters distance. After many months alone, the patterns that we have that are not true to us, they go away. If there's something you do only to impress someone else or to maintain your image, when you're completely alone, it goes away. So I still wash the dishes immediately after cooking or after eating. Kitchen is clean. I still brush my teeth. I shower every day. Let's say I jump 2 days. So and I put deodorant. I mean, I'm 100% alone. I even cut my own hair. I want to feel sane, healthy. So it's a good thing. It allows us to realize what patterns or what behaviors we had in function of the rest of the world and what is fundamental to us. There's one thing I don't do. It's vacuum the floor. Like ever. Yeah. Maybe I should do that at one point. It's starting to be perceptible. I'm hoping you're gonna look at yourself and smile a bit. If you stop taking care of yourself in a healthy way, we've got time, right? What's gonna happen is more depression and loneliness sets in. When you're alone, no one is there to take care of you. So if in addition you are not there to take care of you, it's going to make it worse. And it's a question I had from a student yesterday. It happened a few times. Can you speak about this specifically? Can you speak about that specifically? I'm not a savior. I can't make someone heal sickness or depression. I can't do that. But I can answer the question. And my answer was sharing my personal experience. If you're not there to take care of yourself, no one else will be. Because it's obvious, some of us are completely isolated with no one. I'm surprised at how well I'm taking this. I have moments of depression that last 2 minutes. Just embrace the wave, and I do push-ups and sit-ups, I train, I eat well. It's really cool. You know, comfort food? Sometimes it's a pack of chocolate chip cookies. I take a few. And sometimes it's vegetables. Okay, it's not supposed to be comfort food, but I pick a broccoli and a carrot instead of a cookie. And I end up feeling better and feeling better. So it's a question of how do you handle this state? How do you foresee the consequence of your behaviors? So anyway, I wish you a healthy isolation, those who have to. Some of you are not completely alone. You are in public. But you still have to keep your distance. So some of this feeling that something is missing. Something is missing. Yeah. Someone. People. The handshakes, it's over. You know, this is the world of namaste now. Handshakes are over for a long time. It's going to last more than 2 years. The fear of others, yeah. So the handshake is going to go away. The habit will be lost. So it'll be the high five, well, the distant five hello, or the namaste. That's how it is. So that was me sharing my personal feelings, hoping to inspire you. It's hard to have a positive attitude when you have all these feelings rising of loneliness, of distance, but you can manage it. It's like doing the dishes. You don't feel like it, but once you start, you don't realize it, you go through with it, it's done. Sit inside yourself. Focus on just being incarnate in your body. Today I speak of karma again. I feel that we need to cultivate power. What is the true essence of power, which is not violence, and which is not to seek attention from others. I will slow down my speech for my translators to follow. Thank you. Thank you, Simon, for your patience with me. I got carried away. Yesterday we learned about Karamabal, the city, and we reviewed again the superhero mind trick. If you want to know about those, watch the Kujiin series I just taught. I feel that we have the need to discover what is true power. It is not physical strength, but it will affect physical strength. It is not how your immune system works, but it will affect the efficiency of your immune system. Adi Balantu, the primordial experience of power as it manifests, is a paradox or a non-distinction experience. It's formless, it's so tangible in experience. The Adi Balantu, or the true sense of the word power, or the experience of power, is not any specific manifestation. It is what transpires through every of those manifestations. So obviously it is not violence, but anywhere a force is applied, it will flow, if you have found it. An imprecise way to describe it would be faith and hope. It is that too. It is beyond that. You know, faith that everything will be fine, a trust in evolution, trust in the proper flow of karma. It comes from this higher inspiration of what is truly power. Hope as a virtue. Supernatural positivity. I'll do my best. I'll work on it. It's a motivation. You know, true hope is a motivation. I can do this. False hope is dreams and illusion. Oh, I hope she will be there tonight to hug me, or I hope I can have pizza soon, or it's about objects that might or might not happen. Okay, that's false hope. True hope is not about a specific thing. The true hope is an attitude. I have hope. There is hope. It's a supernatural positivity. Okay, so that too is inspired by the Adi Balantu, the primordial essence of any manifestation of power. So it is something to ponder the universal concept of power as it flows from the origins of all things. And it will be in the soul, faith and hope. Well, faith in the soul, hope in the human, for technical reasons. It will be what inspires you virtue. It will give you a confidence. While you have still so many potentials that could dramatize, hate yourself, believe in your depression as it rises, while you have so many possibilities of falling into sorrow, while there's so much potentials inside that could result in a negative state of being. You can find this place inside. All that is manifested and experienced is not having power over me. And that power, that strength, that moral strength, it doesn't come from denying all the depression, the sadness, the anger. It does not come from denying, no. It comes from finding inside the non-distinct part of us that is beyond manifested phenomena. Basically, it takes personal growth and spiritual practice. Only personal growth will not reveal enough soul. Only spiritual practice will not open the wall big enough for the soul revelations to happen. So personal growth and spiritual practices together. It can be positive affirmation if you don't want to do mantra. It can just be, I love myself just as I am. Every day is a good day to be, It's not as efficient as mantras, but it works. I love myself just as I am is actually something that I recommend. So now we'll ask that question, what I am as a being beyond any manifestation. Basically, what am I in the fourth plane? SamJnana. Maybe you want to write the SamJnana, please. Shiva. So jnana is knowledge, and SamJnana means consciousness purely as it is. You know because you're aware. Let's do a little exercise. Yeah. That JN here is nya. Okay. SamJnana. As someone who is conscious, the new quantum physics world would call you the observer. As someone who is conscious, any phenomena you experience, thoughts, emotions, physical feelings, willpower, motivations, impulses from the animal, waves of instinct, intuition, all of these various phenomena that you're conscious of, they are made of consciousness as a substance, but they are not you as the consciousness that observes it. Until you go to the point of non-distinction, and these phenomena are also made of your consciousness as you experience them. But in the world of distinction, sorry, translators, I'll slow down again, thank you. In the world of distinction, you as the one conscious are the pure consciousness. The observer of all these phenomena are not these phenomena. So you, truly as you are not anything you experience, feel, perceive, or interpret. You are beyond any manifested phenomena that you could observe, because you're the observer. Okay. If you deny everything that you feel, these potential will grow. They will not be embraced. So you have to embrace what you feel and experience. But know that you are not that, okay? So we'll make a practice now. Just talk to yourself. When I am sad, I am not that sadness, but I do feel it. The pain of the sadness, I am not that pain. It hurts, for real. But that hurting, it's not me. It's what I feel. When I dramatize, whether I see it or not, because it takes a while to realize we dramatize. When we dramatize, we experience the drama. But I am not the drama. It's something I have. It's something I feel. It's something that pushes me to do more drama. Whether I realize the drama or not, I am not the drama. It's an influence that I feel. It's not me. It's not purely what I am. When I'm angry, I'm motivated by anger. And I feel it. But it's not what I am. It's what I feel. It's what tries to get out. It's a projection. But it's not purely what I am. Purely what we are is that which experiences all these things but are not any of those things. Okay, so now we're going to meditate or contemplate SamJnana, which is the truly conscious experience, just consciousness. Not anything that you're conscious of, but that consciousness. I am purely consciousness. I am that awareness, that ability to perceive. I am not anything perceived. I am the capacity of perception. I'm the capacity of intuition. I'm not the intuitions. I am the capacity of inspirations, but I'm not the inspirations. I am awareness purely as it is. SamJnana. Sorry about that. SamJnana. So, to do the practice, we contemplate SamJnana now. At another point, those who know their soul name or play with that game, it's a fun thing to have a soul name. It's a useful trick. Then you contemplate your soul name, and it means what I truly am and not any natural phenomena, not any manifested thing. Okay. But for now, we practice SamJnana. It's just being conscious, just being that without any phenomena perceived. SamJnana. SamJnana. And just doing this contemplation, then you can identify to pure consciousness, to a being that is simply the awareness that you are. This formless, nameless, and undefined. Okay. SamJnana. And just practicing this, in our manifested plane, we build an association to just being the consciousness. And it will de-dramatize the association to the phenomena as we perceive. You will feel your waves of depression, anxiety, the sadness or the anger. You'll fall in drama and realize it was drama and do your best to get out of it. The more you identify to, I am the consciousness and not those things I experience, you will dare embrace those experiences, but not identify to them, which will lower the amount of drama. It will lower the amount of panic when there is panic. Okay? It will lower the amount of fatality. Okay? You know, when you have an emotion, you live it eternally. I'm moving back to the wisdom now. You can relax the practice. When we fall in love, you live it forever. I found the one. I will forever be in love. And then it stops. Well, not always, but often. Eventually it stops and shit happens. My heart is broken. I will never love again. I'm gonna be alone forever. Our emotions don't experience time. Whatever we feel now is for eternity. And of course, the state changes. Okay. Usually I teach this to train the mind, the intellect, to remember emotions are not forever. It's temporary. It's a wave, and then if you embrace it, it goes away. If it is recurring, well then it's because you don't resolve it, or you are made that way and you have not made peace with it. Which is something shitty, right? To eat your own karma. Like when I had to make peace with my fibromyalgia, which is now very mild. The more I physically train, the less there's pain. So I physically train. More than training the intellect in not believing in the eternity of emotions, the more we associate to SamJnana, or just the consciousness and not the things we live, the less we will believe in them as a fatal thing, a terminal thing, like, oh my God, an eternal feeling that will not go away ever. So then it's more than a mind trick. Then it becomes all that experience, it will all pass. And if I wanted to pass faster, I'll embrace it. I'll learn to make peace with it. I will resolve it if I can. I won't resolve it if I can't. But I work on it. I'll do my best. And over time, you see it will diminish. It will help. Okay. 2-year-old child in a shopping center loses sight of its mother or father for a bit too long. And the child is lost and starts to realize it. And it cries, and it feels lost forever. And after a moment, the parents are there, finding the crying child who was lost. Ah, Mama, thank you so much. I will be with you forever. You know, there's a feeling of eternity. We're still like a little child regarding heartbreaks and falling in love. I will love you forever. I'll be alone forever. Emotions have this unstructured way. It's intemporal. So it feels eternal. because it has no concept of time. In the intellect, there's a conception of time, but the emotional plane doesn't. So we dramatize as everything is forever. Okay. So in one of the things we should practice in the quest to finding what is the primordial power that fuels any manifestation. Well, we should not be a slave of any of those manifestations. So we have to find SamJnana. Just the consciousness without anything that consciousness applies to. Just being. That, of course, takes practice. Takes time. I do feel that as the world is evolving as it is, for a while I felt that tools of personal growth were the most useful for people to resolve their addictions and their abuses. And now the world is in a condition where conspiracy theory rises. And you're afraid of the future. So I think it's a good idea to teach you how to find the primordial power behind any manifestation. Adi Balan or Adi Balam is primordial power. Adi Balantu is the concept that it is the thing behind any actual manifestation. Okay, it's power. It fuels the force that moves the rest. Okay, it's behind nature, but it is not nature. It fuels it. It's beyond, it's primordial, meaning on the first few planes. First plane, but the first few ones, and it loses the Adi as it goes into the Antu. Okay. So, I'll take an example. There is this idea of putting a chip in your hand, a microchip, so that you can pay with just the chip, click, click, you know. And people are afraid to have a chip inside them because it means a society without cash. For years now, I have been using a credit card with a little chip on it that I can just go bleep, bleep, bleep. And that card, I could lose it. I'm always being careful of putting my wallet in a good place. I'm always checking. And I could lose it. I'd love for that credit card to be stuck in me so I can just go and pay my shit. You know, it would be so practical. And I've been thinking about it, and when I heard of a cashless society where your DNA or a quantum design or a chip that cannot be pirated, you know, something safe. Well, credit card companies, when there's a fraud, they already refund you everything. They don't take you responsible for the fraud. They take responsibility for that, and they catch those who do the fraud. So we're already doing this. We are already carrying a chip around. In some countries, you don't have the chip on your credit card, but we already do this. Mostly, if you don't have a chip, then you have a credit card, and it's still paying without cash. It's more and more practical. Without cash means you can't hide and do black market. I already don't hide my money. I already don't do black market. So who cares, you know, for me. And I pay my income taxes. I'm so happy to pay my income taxes. I've got a machine in my house that sucks shit out of my house. It's called a toilet. It requires water. There's a water system provided by the system. I'm happy to pay for that. There's asphalt in the street so I can drive my car when it's not a quarantine, you know. There's hospitals that take care of the health of my fellows, and you know, my friends and my family when they need it. I'm happy to pay for that. So I pay my income taxes for everything I get from society. I'm happy for that. I'm grateful. I encourage you to be grateful. So the idea of having a chip, but they can track you. Dude, everyone already carries a cell phone. You've been tracked for years. Everything that you're afraid about having a chip in your hand, you have been doing that for years. And if you have something to hide, a crime to hide, this is where you panic. Otherwise, we already do it. So those who were not born in an era where everyone has a cell phone, they're freaking out. "15 years ago, you were afraid of the big brother. Now you say, hey Google, what's the temperature today?
In Saint Etienne de Grèce today, expect a high of 9 and a low of -3.
Middle of May? -3? I guess pollution stopped heating up the planet because it's been like, you know, 4 degrees outside for the last 2 months. It's like it doesn't heat up anymore, in Canada at least. I'm afraid this summer, when I go out to shovel the snow, I'm going to be attacked by murder hornets, you know. Just kidding. Just kidding. Your fear of the conspiracy theories, most of it, you already do everything that this conspiracy says that you should be afraid of. Okay. There's one thing I don't like is the idea of a vaccine. But if I can't travel with that vaccine on day one, I'll say, hey, inject it right here. I got a seminar to give. You know, there's a lot of fear that comes from all the possible futures. I want you to contemplate the idea of finding truly what is your power. And for that, you have to know what you are, SamJnana, and not any phenomena that you observe and are afraid of. For health reasons, you won't see me in a city with 5G for a while, unless I have to give a seminar, and I'll just go. You know, if it really kills people, we'll know and they'll remove it or whatever, you know. Are you afraid to just be a statistic? If you die, if you live, if you get sick or not, if you declared you had the virus, if you get tested or not, are you afraid to be just a statistic? Good. Observe yourself. I am beyond being just a statistic. I am pure consciousness. But everything I am in nature for society is just a statistic. So if you associate yourself to all that you feel and perceive, then for society you are a statistic. You're just one other person that will live or die, so they can decide if they put more microwave or less in the system. You are a statistic. Unless you truly know what you are, then you are beyond being a statistic. Then your consciousness, and not the phenomena that is measured, and not the conspiracy you're afraid of. Just evolution. In order for a a totalitarian government or world order to dominate the world, people have to know themselves as sheep and enter into a system like that. If you truly know who you are, you will not fear a new world order. You will not fear what is to come. You'll believe in the human capacity to love, to heal, to grow. Keep yourself free in your mind, and no one can enslave you. And the system, the fear you have, I'm talking about your fear of conspiracy theories, and I know a few of you here have this thing, but Maha, you don't understand. But Maha, you have it right now. I'm talking to you, that thing that is so afraid of the future. You're having it right now, some of you. It is not going to become hell. I can't prove that there's past life and reincarnation, and I can't prove that I remember them. But as I remember all my past lives, most of them, what matters, I guess, I've seen governments try to control the population. When the population is not able to be happy, it destroys the system. It never worked. A world domination that is not in service to population, it never works. It never did. A system that brings control, we have it already. We finally have it. Laws, justice, healthcare for all, most countries, education, the ability to form families, a police system that protects our property, safety at night without fearing invasion every day. We have already a system that in the past we didn't. And whenever the kings or the dictators were not allowing happiness to thrive, it failed. It always did. So if you have a fear of the upcoming world order, you have to take into account it already is in place. You are being tracked and observed. Face recognition is everywhere. And you are asking Big Brother for the recipe of the day or temperature. You know, you're using a calendar. You're literally telling Big Brother what you are going to do for the next year. If you're not planning a crime or sustaining suffering, you're allowing the world to love and to care. You know, there's a saying, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Let me reverse that. If you're not part of the problem, you are part of the solution. Do your best and embrace this terrible fear of the future. You have it. It's somewhere there. But what will happen? Will I lose my freedom? That is not the problem of conspiracy theories. This is the problem of you not having faith. It's your insecurity. It's your emotions. It is your anxiety. The conspiracy theorists are using this fear of the future to nourish the drama because they have it and they need to justify it, to justify their fear. Find your true power. You are not a victim. You never will unless you associate to the potentials inside that are victims. Find who you are, and you can't be a victim anymore. You will feel all the fear, but you'll be in charge. Oh, this is my fear of the future. This is my fear of enslavement. This is my fear of, I already feel a slave of my anxiety and my potentials. And I'm already projecting. So I imagine a government or a world order that will come and steal away the freedom. It can't. It is impossible. It is you. Consciousness is so powerful. These conspiracy theories about world domination, it has been going on as long as humans can think. It never worked. It never happened. It is fear. The book 1984 is not a prediction of what is to come. It is simply describing everything you fear. And you will always see it in the world, whether it is there or not. You'll always see in the world your fear as long as it has power over you. It's always going to be like that. It's already a cashless money for most of us. Those who don't do under the table. It's already a society where you're tracked and observed. And if you're not a child rapist, and if you're not planning to sell bombs, for terroristic reasons, you have nothing to fear. You have nothing to fear. This will make stuff inside you fight this dialogue. Anything that fights, I did this on purpose, use the potential fear of the upcoming conspiracies or the present ones. I said that for whatever in you fears to rise. Look at it. That is not faith and hope. This fear, this fighting in your mind, but what will happen? This is you being a victim. If you want to find your true power, you need to find truly what you are. Cultivate faith and hope as virtues. Embrace your victim. Embrace your fear. Know yourself. It is at the root of anxiety. And when you have a wave of that anxiety, if you can remember, I will feel it. I will identify its truth. And I will remember, as much as it hurts, I am not that, but I do experience it. Just have the courage to embrace it and make peace with the root of it. There's an online friend who has intense anxiety and asked me yesterday, can you talk about it? Oh, I'm going to talk about it and much more. But that person lives in a constant fear of interaction with others. Her Facebook photo is never her real photo. It's always a dream of something beautiful. There's a profound lack of simplicity and honesty of this is who I am. I'm just that. Just make peace with that. So if you're one of those people who are always wondering what others think of you and what will you look like when you act and do they love me? Of course you're going to have anxiety. If you're basing your life on what the others do, what the others think, and what could happen, the victim, what could happen. If you need to hide, if you're always afraid of something, just try to work on that, okay? Before we can do practices of Adi Balantu, we need to, well, I feel it's useful to find SamJnana. That will take time. As much as I really feel everything I experience, because I don't want to be in denial, I want to really feel it. I am not that. I'm what is experiences all that, and it does hurt. Yes, it does. We are in nature. We are in this world. Yeah, man. The conspiracy lover in you is going to hate me after that class, yeah. But Maha doesn't understand. Can't prove it. But the world has always been afraid. And until recently, up to 10, 20 years ago, religions had a lot of power. So every decade, there was a religion predicting the end of the world. Before the conspiracy theories, people were afraid of the end of the world. Always. It was the recurring theme. The world would end. It's the apocalypse. But now religion lost power so much with the era of technology. Thank God I don't believe in God. It's a joke. It's like saying, thank God I'm an atheist. I'm not an atheist, nor am I a believer. It's paradoxical. But now that the religion fear of apocalypse is over, now it's the anxiety is looking for something else. A world domination, a world order. I mean, Star Trek lovers are just waiting for the Universal Federation to rise. For finally the resource to be balanced around the world, for equity for all beings absolutely imposed. So healthcare, the universal sharing of science and knowledge, so that everyone can grow from anyone's discovery. Where people are not stuck on patents and holding who's right, who's wrong, who can make money with what. It's a dream going forward. So your fears are afraid of being cared for, being safe, for equity, for injustice to be easily identified. Grow up, mature. You dream of justice and you fear a system that would bring justice. You dream of healthcare for all and you're afraid of a system that would care for all. Of course, anxiety is your fear of losing your freedom. Try to work on that. A tyrant never could stay if the majority of the population suffered. And you can take any example of the current world today and say, yeah, just wait, every system failed. And the majority of the world today is socialist with systems that care for their population. The majority. Okay. So don't worry about it. Oh yeah, you can attack me. Socialist is bad. Yeah, I don't care. Forget the word socialist. I never said it. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. The majority of countries have systems in place that care for their population. It's not socialist. It's full capitalistic with caring for your population. Okay, let's use these words. Okay. Laugh at yourself. Come on. You know what I'm doing now? I'm on purpose saying words that triggers some of you, most of you. I'm on purpose using words that will go, but do you see your reactions? When you have a belief, you're not SamJnana anymore. You become the belief. That's going to be the hardest, well, almost. Identity is beyond that. When you have a belief, being able to identify, I am not the belief, it's just a system that pulls me towards a behavior. Yeah, disassociating from being a belief you have is hard, because a belief is built with ignorance, the inability to know yourself beyond that belief, because you have a belief. Yeah, it's always difficult to teach about systems like that. Belief, identity, it's pretty cryptic. I hope I triggered you like a shit ton today. This is how you'll see what rise. And those who argue with the wisdom of today, I want you to know that you are so free to argue, to believe, to not observe, to keep fearing. You will have my respect. I believe in freedom so much that I believe that you have the right to think that I'm wrong, because I don't need to be right. This is the beauty of it. Being freed from what will they think if I talk about this topic. It's wonderful to just expose wisdom the way I feel. It is great feeling. You should try it. Not being afraid of what people think of you. But if you're not afraid for real of what people think of you, you won't become arrogant like, fuck them and I don't care what they think of me. If you do that, if you have an aggressive expression of the fear of what they think, that means you do, and you're making an effort to pretend not to, okay? When you don't care what is going to happen, when you don't care, well, it's not you don't care, it's you don't fear what's going to happen. You do care, but you don't fear. Properly triggered. When you don't fear what image you project, you're peaceful. It's like, it's okay. They can think that, I respect it. They should not be afraid of their reaction towards me either. We're cool. Right? Hey guys, love you and see you in a few days.